All right, so we are here. Um, you watched Super Bowl?
Of course.
Man, it's so funny to me. I just can't help but to laugh. Like people going crazy over that halftime show. I'm like, we got 300,000 people getting laid off the first couple. We ain't even through 2026 yet, and have all those people getting laid off. You got healthcare influx. People don't know whether or not they're going to have healthcare, and
Even if you
ev-
do have healthcare, it's very expensive. It's
yeah.
like super expensive, and then
Mhm.
every year it goes up, and it's just like, um, it's a lot.
Hmm.
It's a lot. So yeah, if
Hmm. But they want to go crazy over the Bad Bunny halftime. You got to spend a week fighting about it.
there's a lot of people who are very have a lot of opinions about different things and I was kind of shocked by like the whole like backlash of it and like all of the like the hostility and the
Hmm.
like just outright nastiness. Like
Hmm.
some people were very nasty with
Hmm.
their comments and um just like blatant um bigotry.
Hmm.
It's like kind of alarming because you know, a lot of like on a lot of the social media platforms, Twitter in particular, because Delon will always like read me Twitter rants because
Hmm.
he's on Twitter a lot. Um,
Hmm.
I'm always shocked at like how blatant some people are with like their thoughts and the things that they put out. Um, that it's one thing to think something in your own private thoughts, like whatever,
Hmm.
however you feel about whatever, but it's something totally different to put out absolute hatred in the atmosphere. It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I I guess I'm not one bit surprised.
Mhm.
Nothing about it was surprising to me. Um,
Even like the backlash and all the like nasty comments.
no. Why would you be surprised? This is America.
Um,
I mean, this is America,
I
and
I
and
agree.
and that is part of the
Mhm.
experience of being um, black or brown in America. I wasn't surprised at all.
I was surprised that so many people were like so outspoken about it. Like usually at times before people were more softer about it, I guess. Like not as
I'm
blatant.
I'm
Um
actually I'm disappointed in it, but I'm not surprised.
mhm.
But I guess I'm gonna take the contrarian view because I'm glad they're outspoken. I'm glad people have finally feel like, okay, I'm tired of hiding who I am, what I think, and how I roll. Because now there's no, it's like you're going to buy a home, you're applying for a job, you're pursuing a deal, or to try to land a business opportunity. And there's all these different factors you have to account for. And you don't know whether or not race is a factor or not, or ethnicity. You don't know whether or not somebody's prejudice is a factor or not. Um, I love it when I find out how somebody really feels because now I know where we stand and I know how to deal with you. I know what box to put you in, and when I approach you, I know how to approach you. Um, like I said, I mean, for me, I find it way more pernicious when it's not spoken and when it's hidden and when people come up with lies, excuses, and subterfuge, and you really don't know what's going on, right? I want to be able to see my enemy. I want to be able to know. If you feel some type of way about me because of my ethnicity or complexion or background, whatever the case may be, let me know up front so we can get down to so we can get to the bottom line, right? And I know it's a contrarian view. And I know also because of my cultural experience, especially and being an African American male, we tend to see things differently too. So
Yeah, because the experience is different because
yeah.
it's more blatant, you know. So,
Mhm.
and I think for women, especially like someone like me, it's like very subtle and because you're not really looked upon as being a threat at like you know what I mean? Like people it's kind of
Mhm.
like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's not really a big deal. But yeah,
Well,
I could see
well,
how the difference in experience would be. Yeah.
mhm. I mean, and it's the current zeitgeist of our society. Um, Look, you have people. I don't even like to call them white or Caucasian because even that's an oversimplification. But let's just say our lighter skinned folks who subscribe to a quote unquote white identity, right? Let's just do that. Um, the current zeitgeist in the country is they are of the mindset that they are tired. They're tired of um, black girl magic. They're tired. They're tired of Black Lives Matter, which, you know, for better or worse, we end up finding out a lot of that was manufactured, scam, people taking advantage of the general public.
Yeah.
Um, they're tired of a lot of the BS.com as well, right? Because if you're going to be like objective, I can see how a lot of white Americans will be tired of some of the stuff that's going on in society. Um, they're tired of this woke, like virus that is like ran through our community, and now broader society. They're irritated and tired because the economy isn't working for all of them either, right? I think
Not
people
working
for
for a lot of people.
yeah, but I think people forget sometimes that there are more quote unquote white folks on welfare. There are more and more white folks using social welfare programs. There are more and more white folks who are on the cusp of poverty, right? And people forget they're frustrated, they're upset, they're angry, they're feeling powerless, they're feeling like no one's hearing their voices too, right?
Hmm.
And so a lot of this backlash really is just pent up frustration with a lot of different things. Um, all that halftime show was just an opportunity to vent and get it out, right? To vent and get it out. Um, there's a lot of things that are wrong with our society today. Straight up, it is.
Yeah.
The fact that we got to fight and battle with people um, who have Johnsons hanging between their legs, wanting to go in the women's bathrooms. The fact that
Well,
you got you know women who are making transitions into being men and having children and causing havoc in the community. I mean, there's a lot going on. A lot of people are, but the bottom line is the real thing is anger and frustration like this really comes out when people are feeling economically insecure. When you're financially insecure, you know how I think about it? It's like the difference between Birmingham, Michigan and Royal Oak, Michigan. When you go out to Birmingham, Michigan, them people out there ain't paying you no mind. They don't care what bathroom you go in. They don't care what restaurant. I've never had an issue with anyone out in Birmingham, Michigan. I never had anyone look at me sideways because of my complexion. Or I've never felt unwelcome at any restaurant. I never felt unwelcome in any space. I'm sure it can happen,
of course.
but
But it can happen anywhere.
I
Yeah.
haven't experienced it any time. But I'm gonna tell you, there are times where I've been in Royal Oak and I can see the eyeballs immediately. There are times where I've been in Royal Oak or in some of these other cities who are less well off, even than Royal Oak, because Royal Oak's pretty well off. Um, and I can immediately feel the heat, right? I know people are watching me, and as a result, my adrenaline is up, and I'm watching them more closely too. And the biggest difference
They're
is
watching you out of like curiosity or watching you like giving you the side eye type watching you.
both,
Okay.
both, right? But when you walk into environments, typically when people are doing better financially, they ain't thinking about you. You are just like a plant in a window. They just walking by you, oblivious, because they're doing their thing. The lower you go on a socioeconomic ladder, the more you're going to encounter um, the type of blatant behavior and attitudes that you are talking about. And a lot of like I said, the frustration and anger, I'm not justifying it. I'm not whitewashing it. That's funny use of word, right? Whitewash. But anyway, I'm not whitewashing it. I'm just saying anyone who studied American history and has studied human psychology and human sociology, you understand that when people are going through financial distress and they act out even more than usual. And it's a lot of that going on right now. You have an administration, and that is kind of contributed to people also feeling a little bit more comfortable being able to articulate perspectives and opinions that are nihilistic and problematic and ignorant, because that's all racism is ignorance. So no, I'm not surprised at all. Matter of fact, I anticipate that it's going to get worse before it gets better because the bloodletting is not done. The layoffs are not done. The people being I'm trying to find a word, man. Sleep deprivation is real. People being displaced, that's not done. People losing their jobs and their identities is not done. The 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 dissolution and destruction of the family because we've allowed um, these alien and ridiculous ideals to flow through our society. It's not. None of this stuff is done. We haven't hit rock bottom yet. And trust me, we hit rock bottom. That's when it's gonna start getting crazy. You think you hearing some stuff now? You ain't heard nothing yet. So I'm not surprised by it. But I'll tell you what, getting your money right doesn't stop it. But if you look at the majority of the movements that transpire in the United States, I'm not going to speak for other countries, but if you look at the majority of movements, particularly as it relates to the fight for equity and quote unquote fair treatment and equality, um, that stuff doesn't change until you can bring economic consequence. When you can bring economic consequence, um, the treatment changes. I'll say that. And
Mhm.
from and it is what it is. When you become consequential economically and at the electoral ballot, people's behavior change. So you want to resolve a lot of that stuff. Yeah, education, conversation, um, those things happen. But the bottom line is only time people adjust their behavior is when you can bring that consequence to them financially. So my response to people in the African American community, my response to other communities of color or however you want to articulate it. I don't feel like being academic about it today. Um, get your shit right.
Yeah.
Right. That's all there is to it. Get your ish right. So, um, on another note, I know people will be like, I thought y'all were a business podcast. Y'all up here talking about societal.
I mean, but I mean, these are things that are affecting everybody. Like whether you're
Mhm.
an entrepreneur or you're doing a 9 to 5 or you're doing the donkey or whatever, like it's things that affect everybody. Like these are like topics that are affecting everybody. So it's relevant and it should be discussed. And the
I
things
agree.
that we're thinking and talking about, everyone else is thinking and talking about too, you know?
Yeah.
And we
Uh,
shouldn't
uh,
shy away from topics just because they're volatile and they're, you know what I mean? Like it's something
I
that's going on.
I guess for me, because this is an interesting conversation. I was not expecting this conversation to go here, but let's go ahead and do it. Um, I really believe that it depends on the impact that you're trying to make, right?
Hmm.
Because you hear this conversation happen in business circles, right? A lot. Like, I don't always talk about my spiritual or religious beliefs. I don't always talk about my political beliefs, even though I really don't fall into one political box. Like, I'm not a, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, like, I don't fall evenly. Like, I'm just too pragmatic to be beholden to one party or one school of thought or one, like, there's some people where politics is their theology, right? Um, I'm too pragmatic to care what ideal comes from what party or what affiliation or what label you want to give something, right? But I don't talk a lot about how I feel about a lot of different things because it would distract from some of the other things I'm looking to accomplish, right? I have There are spaces where I do talk about things that may be political, socio-economic, cultural, um, and in those spaces, I let people know how I think. Um, but it's like there are certain spaces too where you already know I code switch. I'm transparent about that, right? I'm an academic. I'm a nerd. I am very, very comfortable sitting across the table and debating people in a very academic, philosophical, um, utilizing certain frameworks and strategies to get a point across or to debate. On the other hand, there are some spaces I go to and I straight turn on the Ebonics because I grew up in the environment. So I know how to communicate with those who may not be as fortunate. Man, I've been exposed to things I'm exposed to. That's kind of how I think about it, right? It's just what do you want the impact to be? For me, when it comes to entrepreneurship and business development, I believe there's a part of you that has to turn off the noise. A lot of the stuff that people get caught up in and arguing and fighting about and debating is noise. It's not signal. If you're looking to be financially independent, if you're looking to achieve financial freedom, if you're looking to become part of the ownership society where you're not left behind and eating spam and Vienna sausages for the rest of your life, right? Um, that's kind of how I look at it. So I don't mind having those conversations here. Um, but I'm also always thinking about, okay, when I'm having conversations, whether it be with here, the Grow Gears Project, or any other venue I'm in, I'm always thinking about, okay, what's the end goal? How am I trying to bend the world right now? Right. Um, for me, I've made up my mind that the way that I'm choosing to bend the world right now is to help more people get on the other side of the fence, start buying properties, invest in the stock market, start up businesses or buy businesses. Because if you think income is going to set you, cash is trash. Okay. You can't earn enough income to keep up. Right. The average home price is 400K. The average income in Detroit is 30K. The average income nationwide is what? 60, 70, 80K. I mean, you're a real estate agent. You know, people who are earning 100K can't afford a four or $500,000 home. They're going to be house poor. Um,
And stressed out.
yeah. And, you know, your income's not going to keep up with the cost of eggs. The bottom line is, I forgot how much a dollar has depreciated over the last 30 years, but it's atrocious. I mean, the numbers, it's high. It's very high. Like the dollar is the devaluing the dollar is like it's happening in dramatic fashion. It's rapidly. Um, People, you have to wake up. Like you cannot afford to f up this time around. Or you think it was a permanent underclass before, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like people really right now, we still have the illusion of the middle class. Right now, we still have the illusion that you can quote unquote get by. That illusion is about to disappear. Like it's going to become very stark. You are going to know that you are a have not. You ain't going to be no pretending. You're going to know. People better wake up.
I
So,
mean, it's been like that in a lot of countries for many, many, many years.
mm-hmm,
It's going to start
mm-hmm,
happening here. And like
mm-hmm,
when you're fortunate enough to visit other countries and
mm-hmm,
you see it, you really feel it. You really feel the difference when you see, like you said, the haves and the have-nots.
mm-hmm,
Um, and the larger population is always the have-nots.
mm-hmm. Getting
So
it out. They getting out the dirt for real. Like
yeah, literally.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I have a, it's funny. I have a friend. He's from Sierra Leone. And of course, some of the people that I work with virtually are from Nigeria. Um, and of course, I have Nigerian friends and clients and partners that I
Mhm.
work with periodically. And they tell me about what's going on. I'm like, damn, like that's tough. Like the young lady I'm working with periodically now, I'm so happy for her that she was finally able to get connected to the right people because she's living in an environment where she has a law degree. Smart as hell. You know what I mean? Very, very capable. I'm very grateful to have been able to work with her. Um, but she could get no traction. Her intellect, academic background, capacity to do work meant nothing until one of her family members was able to get connected with the right people who are connected to the government, because that's where the money flows, right? Um, but the stuff she was telling me, the way she was living, I was like, oh my God,
What country is she living in?
Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's coming here. And I just don't know how to beat the alarm, man. Like the African American population, the collective network of the population is going to be, um, it's going to hit zero. It's going to hit zero. Um, and because people don't know history, they don't understand why that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, Lynchings increased dramatically after the Civil War ended um, and after the Emancipation Proclamation. And the reason why the lynchings skyrocketed because the racial attitudes were the same. People's attitudes didn't change. It's because African Americans were no longer viewed as valuable. As property, we at least had a value attached to us, right? Just like you wouldn't go across the street and damage somebody's car, or you wouldn't go across the street and damage someone's tractor because of the financial and consequence associated with it. You wouldn't do that to an African American body, at least not in that way. But the reason why the lynchings went up was because there was no financial value attached to an ebony body, a
Right.
black body. And because of that, okay, we're gonna do with you what we will, right? Um, that can easily happen again. If you become a person or persons or collective or ethnic group that basically can't bring financial consequence in society, people will treat you, they will dog walk you, and they will take you out like the trash. And it's amazing to me that, you know, you study human history, if you study particularly US history, that's what happens to people. So we better wake up.
Yeah,
We better
definitely.
wake up. And
Yeah, 'cause that
that's
history is going to repeat itself. So,
yeah, yeah, very easily. Um, so I don't know. That's why I'm so urgent about it. I guess, you know, at this stage of my life too, that's why I'm so laser focused. And it made some people say I'm myopic. Okay, but I'm going to help as many people get on the right side of the fence as I possibly can.
right.
Yeah. So the thing in me that was interesting about the Super Bowl that I took from it was how Seattle won the game. And for me, the obvious reason is they didn't have unforced errors. They didn't turn the ball over. I mean, that's what it really boiled down to.
Hmm.
New England turned the ball over too many times and had a lot of unforced errors, like that either result in them losing the ball or their team being put in tough circumstances, being pinned in the back, right, and having to drive the full field just to score, right? You had a lot of that taking place, the unforced errors. And, you know, me being me, because that's where my mind works, I immediately applied it to entrepreneurship because I believe entrepreneurship is sport in many respects, a mirror sport, right? People don't like to admit it, but there's winners, there's losers.
Absolutely. There's winners.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's a contact sport.
yeah, yep. And so I started thinking about, you know, entrepreneurship, just like winning the Super Bowl, is difficult enough just to put yourself in position to win. Um, but those unforced errors that entrepreneurs make makes it extremely difficult to get on the right side of the fence and be successful, right? The fumbles.
It's
What
a
do they
con
say?
struggle.
When people fumble the bag,
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely. All
Yeah,
the time.
yeah. I
Fumbled the bag,
mean,
fumbled the opportunity, fumbled the collaboration.
fumble
Oh,
everything. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I was thinking about just like simple habits that a lot of entrepreneurs don't have. Like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, man, they spend it as soon as they get it. I think talking to you actually kind of reminded me about this. Like, I remember years ago, and I've become even more savage about this. Like, as soon as a dollar hits my account, a certain percentage of it is going towards reserves, rainy day, savings, taxes. I don't even see that money. I don't even see it. Hits my account, it's set to automatically move to another account to cover those things, right? Um, and people will say it's hard to do that. Trust me, when the BS.com shows up, that's a lot worse. It's a lot harder not to have it.
Well, you have to be trained and disciplined to do it that
Yeah,
way. You
but
have
I
to,
mean, that's an unforced error, though. You know, that's something you can control.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not judging. I look. I remember. I remember very much what it was like when, as an entrepreneur, every dime was accounted for before it hit my account. But that's an unforced error. That's something you have to do as an entrepreneur. You have to set aside monies, and then you know, of course, the other unforced error is, which makes it even more pernicious, is when individuals. So right now, I'm having a good period, right? I'm doing pretty well. I'll leave it at that. You got to know that 30% of every dollar I bring in is going towards an investment. I'm either putting it towards the market. Hey, I'm either putting it towards real estate because those are two things that are my jam.
Mhm.
And very soon, I would like to, in the next maybe year or two, start actually buying businesses because that's a lot easier than building them, right? but every dollar I'm setting aside is going towards that. Um, and man, if you're not doing that, that's an unforced error. You have to. Like the jewelry, the car, all the stuff that entrepreneurs buy to try to show off their status, man, it's not going to serve you in about 5, 10 years. I think of all the people who bought um, jewelry as luxury items over the last 5, 10 years, like all this yapping you heard about how these watches are going to be worth so much and how diamonds are going to be worth this, that, and the other. Man, trash. People bought these Teslas, right? And swore up and down that the value of a Tesla would never go down. I was like, you're an effing idiot. People went out and spent $80,000 on Teslas, and now they can't even resell them for $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, those are unforced errors. Right? Those type of financial decisions will come back and do you some serious harm, do you some serious damage in the future if you're not paying attention.
Right.
Right. And of course, you know, I know you were getting ready to start talking about the non-financial unforced errors that people make. That people make. I go back to a piece of advice you gave me recently that I've been using more and more and more. Where you told me, you know, when you shared how it's important to leave people whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when they are being stupid, when they are being ignorant, even if you know they're being problematic, leave them whole. You don't have to smash them. You know, as long as they're not an immediate that causing damage to you and stopping you to do what you need to do. It's just like let it roll. You
Yeah.
know, I did that yesterday. Met with a business owner. She was on that BS.com. And it's so funny because when you're a business owner, I don't think people realize, like when you're a business owner, when you're an operator, we speak a different language
Definitely.
and we see things differently.
Absolutely.
So if you're on some BS.com, we're going to smell it in about, it usually takes me a minute.
Immediately, though, you'll
Yeah,
smell it.
yeah, you smell it immediately. It's like you never
There's
built
telltale
anything.
signs. Yeah, there's the telltale
Yes,
signs. You're like, okay, this is definitely falling into that realm here. Yeah.
yeah, yes. Entrepreneur was talking big ish. I was listening to her. She's talking about how she was earning all this money and had no financial issues and no woes and no problems and doesn't need help for this, that, and the other, and was trying to give me advice and I'm listening to her and I'm thinking like once again, it's like, okay, so if you are moving like that, that means you're probably a decamillionaire the way you talking.
At least.
You're the way she was talking. I mean, she was talking that big stuff. But I'm like, okay, we had a meeting today. You're meeting me in your mobile office to pick up the kids, to hurry up to get home, to finish the appointment. And then you have some other chores and stuff going on. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm a decamillionaire. Number one, I'm not taking a call while I'm picking up the kids. I'm not trying to facilitate a business meeting where there's a chance that a deal could be closed. I'm not doing that, number one. Um, Number two, if I was going to schedule something at the time where the kids need to be picked up and dropped off, um, at that point, I'm probably paying someone to do it.
Absolutely.
At
Delegated
that,
that out. Yeah.
yeah, that's delegated out.
Yeah. I
Right.
agree.
I have a assistant that is handling certain things for me. There are certain places I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's certain places I'm not going without a left, someone on my left, someone on my right, someone at my 6, somebody at my 12. Right. If I'm earning that kind of money and just randomly out and about here in the world, like press your luck if you want to, you know. Oh, it's just fascinating to me. Anyway, and of course, you know, I began asking her what her value prop was, and she couldn't tell me what her value prop was. She couldn't define to me who her ideal client or buyer persona was, couldn't tell me couldn't clearly define the problem that she solves for, clients. And I'm just listening to her like, girl, look. I mean, she's a grown woman, but I'm like, come on, come on. And me in the past, I'd have told her, I'd have been like, look, stop bullshitting. You ain't earning that money.
The funny thing I said the other day was typical loser behavior.
Oh man.
My God, I died. I was like, oh my God, I was dying laughing. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna use that. I am gonna use that.
Oh
It
man.
was just so funny because it like came out of nowhere. But it was right on time though. It was
Yeah.
like no, you like called it and you're like, okay, it's typical loser behavior. And
Yeah.
you're just so like matter of fact about it. I'm like, well, moving right along. Shots fired. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've stopped doing that too. I mean, actually, that was I remember what you're
No,
talking
but
about.
I feel like
That
it
was
was
very
on point.
appropriate.
No,
It was very appropriate
it
at the
is
time.
appropriate because we have certain guidelines and certain rules. And when you're part of an ecosystem and you're part of a group, and we're all holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
So even when it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's me or you or the next person, if
Hmm.
someone's holding you accountable, you're an adult, then you have to own that because
Yeah.
that's correct because that was already an established, this is our standard operating procedure here.
You just said the keyword standard.
Yeah, standard operating
Yeah.
procedure is X, Y, and Z. So when you've deviated from that and then you've decided to, put yourself on the floor, it's like, okay, well, I mean, you opened yourself up to that.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Yeah.
feel like it was, out of order. I felt like it was on point and right on time, because
Hmm.
some things that you say, I'm thinking, but I feel like, well, that's not ladylike, so I shouldn't say stuff like that. I'm always trying to like be tactful,
Hmm.
diplomatic, and leave people whole, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it's very warranted to just say what you're thinking and what's on your mind, so people know that this isn't a game. I'm not here to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm serious about what I'm doing. I'm taking my time to put this together to assist other people, and you got to show up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Is people want to, they want $300,000 salaries and incomes and want to walk around with, 2 cent attitudes.
yeah, $3 worth of work. Right.
Yeah. It's like, get out of here.
Right. I agree. Well,
But
and I
yeah,
think
I mean,
our topic was supposed to be like how owners blow up their businesses.
hmm
I think that's part of it too, is not having the right attitude for success is definitely a component and an ingredient
hmm
that contributes to failure, you know,
yeah.
for sure.
hmm
I think that's definitely something that I've seen throughout the years of just different people who I know who've tried to start businesses and who maybe were not successful because it's super, super, super hard to have longevity in any business. Um, and when you're a business owner that's had to pivot, like either the products you're offering, the services you're offering, or even the service lines you're involved in, um,
hmm
you can clearly see it. And you're like, okay, like this time to this time, we were doing X amount and doing this. And then all of a sudden, you have to just pivot. Um, and it takes a lot to do it. It really does. And
hmm
when you've seen it and you've experienced it and you've successfully done it, you know the amount of work that it took to get from point A to point B. And it's not easy, not at all.
hmm
It's not easy. Like other people looking at you doing it might feel as if, as outsiders looking in, you're making it look effortless, you're making it look easy. Hence the reason why we have so many failed attempts at entrepreneurship.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times people, yeah, they don't see the price. They just see the promise.
Mhm.
They don't see the price.
They don't see
And
the blood, sweat, and tears and the
mm-hmm,
sweat equity and all the background that went into that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. Um, and man, you just gotta. I can't remember who I was listening to. It was somebody that's successfully built a pretty large enterprise. I mean, talking about 8, 9 figure enterprise. He was
Mhm.
talking about this. He was like,
Mhm.
as a leader and as someone who's building a business, and we've talked about this on numerous occasions. I mean, this is one way in which it calls an unforced error. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't tell everybody everything. Some people can't carry the weight. There's a type of weight that leaders have to carry. And you can't put that weight on other people because it's not their responsibility to carry the weight and they're not built to carry it. Right. Um, they're just, like I said, there's certain things that go on, certain conversations that are had or that transpire, um, certain things that need to get done that would be considered very daunting or huge or once again heavy, certain threats or challenges that come up, not even errors in judgment, but just sometimes things don't go your way. You can't saddle people with certain conversations. It will dissuade them. It will scare them. It will take the air out of the balloon if you share it with them.
Yeah,
Right?
it's too much for them to handle.
Yeah.
Like their, capacity to handle certain things is just not there.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful too,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes with what you share with people because um, they may not have the capacity to even understand it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially as it pertains to strategic moves in business.
Yes.
Um, like for me, I just made a strategic move. Um, it was rather abrupt and rather cutthroat, but
Mm-hmm.
necessary. Because I feel like when people are playing in your face
Mm-hmm.
and they are attempting to professionally sabotage you, you have to send
Mm-hmm.
a message. And sometimes when you send that message, there is collateral damage. But you've let people know, like, this is
Yep.
what it is. The line has been drawn in the sand. And so, you see it for what it is and not for what they want you to see it as.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that, you have to be able to take the weight and to be able to withstand the scrutiny of making that kind of decision because you'll always have people being like, oh, you shouldn't do that, or, you should do this, or, having like a different type of attitude or thought process behind it. But at the end of the day, if you're at the helm of the ship, it's your decision to make. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to stick with strategically what you know is best for what you're trying to do. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you may get into a situation professionally that you think on one hand, okay, this aligns with your goals, but then once you get into it, you're like, okay, no, this doesn't align with my goals. The way that they're handling this is just doesn't align with what I'm trying to do. And you have to make those difficult decisions and have to be able to stand by them too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Somebody has to be the standard bearer.
mhm.
Um, which just triggers something else. I was a conversation I had with another business owner that has a pretty large sales team, that we were conversing about this week, and man, that behavior that people have of blaming other people when they come up short when they come up short, that's nauseating. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I don't
have
want
to
to.
hold
You
yourself accountable.
you
Like,
gotta you gotta own it. Like once you take on a project, once you take on a goal, you have to. Even if you are not in the wrong, even if you did nothing wrong, even if you did everything right, when the shit goes south, you still have to own it. At some point, you have to take responsibility for what happens in your business and your life. Um,
yeah, because the buck stops with you. The checks are
yeah.
coming to your company and you're the owner of the company. So whether it went right and you did everything right, or it went totally sideways and you did everything right, it doesn't matter. The buck stops with you. Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, the check is coming to your company and that's your company.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's the bottom line of bottom lines. So,
Hmm. That's, man, it's such an important lesson. And it's just like, you have to be reliable.
mhm.
And we all fumble the ball. I can think of several occasions. The thing is, once you become a person that's relied upon, once you become a person that you raise the bar, people have certain expectations. Like, for me, it's almost painful to think about the times where I've dropped the ball. Like, I can remember the last 7 times I've dropped the ball over the last 10 years. It's painful. Even if it happened one time over the course of a year, 2, 3 years, it's painful when I think about it. I've probably given God knows how many speeches, how many talks in front of how many people. Spoken at graduation ceremonies, spoken at conferences, spoken at workshops. I mean, but I can tell you, I can remember the 5 times I did a terrible job. I remember them vividly, and I remember why I did a terrible job. Right. And I could have blamed it on a lot of different things. I could have blamed it on people not setting up equipment properly, or um, trifling behavior that was taking place around me, or someone telling me to expect one thing when it was another, right? But at the end of the day, it's like I showed up and I bombed. Um, but that's also the only way. That's how I've gotten better. That's how I've gotten better. Did a talk not too long ago where the equipment wasn't set up properly, projector, they didn't have the PowerPoint. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. Y'all have nothing together here, man. I put out my phone and made it happen anyway. So, um, what else you got, Ponce? What are other ways in which people blow their businesses up?
Um,
Unforced errors, like stuff that you.
I think growing too fast and not having the capacity to handle the growth
Is
is,
that an unforced error though?
yeah, because you know that it's going to take additional resources if you're trying to grow. And if you don't have everything properly set up, then you're falling short.
So this is what I would say. I don't disagree with you, by the way. You're right, but I think a lot of that can be sometimes more art than science, right? Because in order to grow, and when you are growing, you have to experience your systems buckling a little bit so you can make the adjustments and improve your systems,
Absolutely.
right? So, you know, sometimes a person experiences that because they haven't gone to that level before, so they don't know what to expect, right? It's like errors made out of ignorance. Um, and then there are times where you know what to expect, you plan for it, you've put in contingency plans, but it still doesn't matter. The
Yeah,
success comes in and you're like, man, I gotta hurry up. Like, I've had that happen a couple times where I was like, man, this software tool is not working. The way we've been doing business can't. We need new systems. We need SOPs. We need like more structure. We gotta. This growth has exposed a weakness. We gotta shore this up as quickly as possible, right? I mean, that's part of the deal too.
agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Necessary. Very
yeah,
necessary.
yeah. Um, I guess I'm more or less thinking about like the dumb decisions, the real dumb apple decisions that people make, where it's like for real, like you didn't see that didn't have to happen. You know what I
Um,
mean?
Having the wrong butts in the seats is definitely something else too. Because
Mm-hmm.
you, let's say you have a business, obviously you should never hire family and friends for your business. It's just not the right. Um, Especially
Mm-hmm.
if you're from a certain type of, like
Mm-hmm.
you need people
You
that are,
trying to you trying to be coquettish and cute about it.
I'm just saying, you have to have people that are going to help you level up, not
Mm-hmm.
blow up the spot. No, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that. So yeah, you have to have the right seats, and if you don't have the right butts in the seats, that can definitely contribute to the deterioration or stagnation of your business. Absolutely. Yeah, it's very terrible.
This conversation is so entertaining. It's only entertaining because I know I'm on the other side of it. Um,
You know what I was alluding to without trying to be too saucy. Okay.
mm, it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, that will blow up your business, man. Putting the wrong butts in there and
Yeah, exactly.
mm-mm. People can take that nepotism too far. They can
Yeah,
take it way too far. Putting people in places where they don't have the skills to pay the bills, um, and haven't even shown the potential or the willingness to learn. Um, yeah, yeah, I know. I'm thinking of a business owner right now. I'm trying to figure out a way to coquettishly communicate it to the person that you have to replace this person in your business. Like, I know where you want to take things. I know where you want it to go. And this person is like just defecating on your vision and not even doing it purposely. It's just where they're at, right? They were good for the time being. Now you need a higher standard in terms of customer service, in terms of
difference.
how people are communicated with, in terms of how things are prioritized inside of your business. And this person is no longer an asset; they are now a liability. You got to let them go. Um, and I need to figure out. Well, number one, I need to get the person's permission to
That's the discipline,
to
though.
speak on it. And
Mhm.
then, secondly, even when I get their permission, I still got to be coquettish in terms of how it's communicated, right?
Right. Tactful and diplomatic. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Because that's a skill set too, is being able to discern when it's time to cut rope and let people go. Because I've talked about it, doing it myself and or just letting opportunities go. Like this doesn't align with my professional goals and just drawing a line in the sand. And I feel like how you know it's the right decision is because you'll feel 1,000 times better once you do it. And you'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that that was the right decision because your whole body and your mind will be like at ease at that point. Once you've decided to like cut that rope and draw that line in the sand, you know immediately because your body and your mind responds to it like, okay, this now we're cooking with grease.
Mm.
And I've done both recently, and it felt amazing. And it still does. It feels amazing to just be like, okay, this is dead weight, cut. Or this doesn't align with my professional goals. Um,
Mm-hmm.
or these people are playing right in my face. Absolutely not. No, thank you.
You,
Yeah.
people be playing it in your face. You
Yeah.
said.
Yes. Te
Mm-hmm.
agradezco, pero no, estoy bien. I'm good. No,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. No, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if
Mm-hmm.
good to just be like, no, this is not, you know, this is just not gonna work. So,
I got a laundry list. Like you just saying stuff that's triggering. Like I can think of a lot of different ways in which people have dropped the ball, not learning that lesson.
oh,
Not learning
absolutely.
that lesson. My goodness. Um, even like, and I've seen so much happen with business owners online publicly who made that errant judgment. Like, just showed up with the wrong company at the wrong time, right?
The wrong
Um,
dude, the wrong team,
mhm.
everything.
Yeah,
Wrong.
Um,
Yeah.
and then it's like if you step on somebody's foot, if you step on somebody's toes, you got to remember that foot is attached to a leg,
Mhm.
and that leg is attached to somebody's ass, and you might have to kiss that ass one day. So, yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. People be out here. People be out here doing too much.
Definitely.
Doing too much. Um, doing too much of the wrong things and they're not doing enough. Yeah. So it's got a wonderful text message, somebody canceling a meeting today. I love those.
Oh, absolutely. At
Those are,
least at least they canceled and it wasn't just a no call, no show.
you know what you just read my,
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
I had a meeting, this was a couple weeks ago with a lender, right? And I was excited to meet them because they had like great energy. And he told me, he was like, you know that I have 5 appointments today. And he said, guess how many people showed up? And I said, five? He said, no, just you. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, did they at least call or like give you like an excuse?
No.
No, he was like, it was just crickets. And I'm like, and of course, there's people in my industry. So, of course, we talked about that. And I'm like, yeah, that's why they're not doing anything.
That is the other thing too. You
Yeah.
gotta look, if you are in a habit of doing that, like,
It's a black cloud over your business because it follows you.
yes.
And it
Um,
goes into other areas too. If you're that kind
mhm.
of person that you don't have good communication or say you're going to do something, you don't follow through, you don't have a tight handle on your
Or
schedule.
you don't show up. It's
Yeah,
like the higher you climb, the more valuable the time is.
I agree.
And people don't be having the bandwidth to deal with that type of nonsense.
Well, and it's just a professional courtesy. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just at the bare minimum. It doesn't matter if you work at McDonald's or you're a Fortune 500 CEO or you're Carlos Slim. It doesn't matter who you are. If you just have to have certain standards about yourself and, respecting other people's time and respecting your time and just having professional courtesy goes a long way. Even if you can't make it or whatever, just say that. Or you're no longer interested in the opportunity, whatever the case may be. It's just a professional courtesy. And I think a lot of people are lacking in that area, especially in
Hmm.
this space,
That is unforced error. Yeah, right there.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Um,
send a text to somebody, see that they read the text and that they didn't even respond, like, oh, hey, it's just reaching out to see, how this went or how that went. And, they read it, but they didn't respond. It's like, yeah, no. Crazy.
um, I'm glad I can't see that on my phone. I can't see whether someone sees the text I send or not. So I'm sure that would probably piss me off if I sent text messages and people didn't respond and I saw that they looked at it.
Well, usually what I'll do is
That's funny.
email, like, hey, I know you're
Now I
probably
can see the emails.
busy. I know you're
Mm,
probably super busy. Just wanted to tap in with you and see how such and such and such and such went. Multiple touches on the prospect or whatever. So yeah, but
um,
it's a real thing out here.
here's the other thing, and I'll leave it here because I know we're about to run over here in a minute.
Mhm.
But you just said something that caught my attention. Reminded me of another conversation I had with a business owner, and we were talking about man, unwillingness to invest.
Yeah,
I was telling somebody about, well, I recommended a book to this person. I recommended a webinar, a workshop. It wasn't one that I was facilitating. And I recommended that a person go ahead and get a certification or licensing fee because they wanted to offer um, products and services through another channel. And I remember the person texted me back like, I don't believe in spending money on things like this. Like it's against my philosophy. And I just remember cracking the hell up. I was like,
What do they
what?
mean in things like this, like self-enrichment and self-improvement and self-edification? Is that what they meant?
Like, why can't it just be free?
Why can't
And
what just be free? The
like
education?
the person that was putting on a workshop, like I said, I recommended a book.
Okay.
I recommended a workshop. I recommended they go out and pursue a certification so they could start selling products and services to a particular channel,
Okay.
to a particular business line. And they're in the B2B space. And they text back. They're like, no, I don't, that cuts against me. I shouldn't have to spend money on certain things. People should just give it to me. And I shouldn't have to spend money to go out and market a particular service or product. And I'm like, have you heard of the insurance industry? Have you heard of the real estate industry? Have you heard of the investment industry? Like, you do know you have to pay to get certified to offer certain products in a marketplace. Like, what do you mean you don't believe in investing?
I mean, it costs to learn, period. Like,
Oh man,
so
I was just like, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. She was mad at me because I told her like it's just certain things I can't do. Like I can't spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, unfortunately, trying to talk to you about certain things. Like, even if you were working with me at some point, it's gonna be a price. Um, I
because your team is
was
valuable. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that mindset, that attitude that a lot of people carry with them, you are man.
I call that acting typical.
I
Like,
call that loser behavior.
oh, typical loser behavior.
Yeah, yeah,
And acting typical because it's like
yeah,
that you're just acting typical. What makes you feel like you're any different? Like, I mean, everybody it costs to learn. If you want to level up, you got to invest in yourself.
yeah,
Treat yourself, don't cheat yourself, is what
yep.
I mean, you're willing to, go to McDonald's and blow $30 in the drive-through. Why
Tell
wouldn't
me
you
about it.
spend money? Which like I just use that as an example because I every time I drive by a McDonald's, I'm just, like shocked at the long line of people. I'm like, well, I mean, I know you guys are like, I mean, but like what, like really? Like, no.
Hmm.
Um, we will go to a McDonald's if we were on the road and our dogs were like, okay, we've been driving a long time. We want to get some chicken nuggets for the dogs or something to, hold them over, but not as like, oh, we're going to be over here spending $30 or whatever. I mean, it's just crazy how people blow their money like that. But it costs money to learn. And I think it's really funny when people are like, well, I don't believe in that. Well, so you don't believe in like investing in yourself is because that's what it is. You're investing in yourself. So,
People look.
I mean, there have been plenty of times that I paid for webinars, certifications,
Hmm.
things in regards to like licenses. Um,
Hmm.
you have to pay like renewal fees for your like my residential builder's license, real estate license. You have fees associated with that. You have to take continued educational learning classes. It's like you have to have general liability, errors and omissions. All these are costs associated with holding that license. I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah, that's
And then, because here's the thing too that I don't think people understand. It's like I tell people all the time: you're the first to hear your lies. You're the first to hear your lies.
mhm.
Now, here's the thing: if you don't believe that people should invest to get access to talent, skills, experience stacks, wisdom stacks, certain things that other people paid a pretty penny to get access to, why in the world should somebody pay for what it is that you offer?
Agreed.
Right? I think about that all the time. Um, it's like if you're walking around with that attitude, you can't possibly believe you to deserve to win. Because why should somebody pay for you? Your products, your service, your wisdom, your skills, your
Right.
talents. Why?
Yeah, what's
Right?
good this is good for the gander. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was it was just interesting when I saw that text message come through. I was like, really? And
What
like
book?
and you
What
want to
book?
be a B to B, you want to be a B. Well, it's like three books that I always recommend to people
Okay.
when they tell me they're beginning their entrepreneur journey.
Hmm.
I always recommend the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Um, I always recommend Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Another book that I typically will recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And then there's another book by Bob Bird that I tend to recommend to people, Endless Referrals, right? And then there's one other book that I tend to recommend as well. And that's terrible. As many times I've read this book, the author escapes me. Go for No.
Go for now.
Yeah. So it was a combination of those books. I was saying you should read these books if you're really gonna level up, especially within the B2B space, right?
Okay.
I recommend those books, and I've recommended those books for years because those are the books that I can point to when I read the book. After I read each one of those books, my income went up at
Okay.
least 2 to 3 months later. Like literally, and when I say went up, it wasn't a couple dollars. Like
You leveled up.
yeah.
Yeah, you leveled up.
Each time I read one of those books,
Okay.
my floor became different.
Okay.
Right, my floor became different. Um, which leads me to the next book that I'm thinking about. There's another book that I'm studying right now. Um, Malcolm Gladwell. See, this is the okay. This is the flip side of reading 2 and 3 books in one month. I never sit down and read them all at once. I read.
Well, you know what I started doing that Mr. Peden and you guys have like kind of introduced a new phenomenon to me, which is
Yeah.
reading the chapters more than once, listening to the
Mm-hmm.
chapters more than once. I really feel like for me, that was a game changer because it's kind of like watching a movie more than once. Every time you
Mm-hmm.
watch it, you get something different out of it. Like I've seen The Godfather 1 and 2 like a million times, but every
Mm-hmm.
time I watch it,
The
even
tipping point.
the tipping point. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that book is really important to me right now. I'm gonna be in that book. Even when we have other books of the month,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be in that book for the next 2, 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said
I'm
by Malcolm
sorry.
Gladwell?
Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point. In there he talks about the concept of the salesman, the maven, and the connector. Or another way of thinking about it, the salesperson, the connector, and then the ideal person, right? The
Okay.
inventor, the inventor. And it talks about how ideal spread, right? How popularity spreads.
Okay.
How when you need to get something known and communicated with a large group of people, how to go about doing that. So I will really admit that's probably one of my biggest challenges. That's
Okay.
something I just have not mastered. I know how to do it slow. I eventually bend things to my will slowly, but there are people out here that just have a knack, man, for doing that. They have a knack for doing it.
Okay.
Man.
Well, I'm probably gonna download that after we I took some notes too. I take notes during
I know.
most of the time when we're talking about stuff, I'm taking notes either in my phone or actually writing them down.
Hmm.
So yeah, I took some notes. So I'm definitely gonna I mean some of the books that you named I have read and I'm familiar with, but that one, The Tipping Point, I wasn't familiar with it, but I'm gonna get familiar with it. So
Hmm. Really, really important book. I'm trying to think what the next book of the month should be for our organization. I'm gonna
maybe that one.
create a list of books in school.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
you know, I'm thinking about that book, but I'm also thinking about where people are at developmentally in our organization.
Okay.
And I always kind of take that into account when I recommend a book of the month, right? 'Cause I'm having conversations with people and I'm learning what their deficits are, or weaknesses, or fears or anxieties. And I try to recommend books that will address it, right? Like
Okay.
I'm looking at the current zeitgeist of our organization now. Um, and it's a conversation needs to happen offline, but there's two to three things that are I find disconcerting that we have to do better at, right? Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's a couple things, and there's a couple of external risks that are at play, and we talked about that Monday, so I'm not about to revisit that. But
Yeah.
there are some real threats to the success that we're having, and more importantly, there are really real threats to our future success. Right?
Okay.
We have adversaries in the marketplace, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Competition is not necessarily a bad thing, but
Competition is healthy.
yeah, we got to win, win. But to be continued. What you got going on after this?
Paperwork, some errands, the usual. You know how Fridays are.
Okay.
What about you? Besides
You
the
already,
canceled appointment,
you already know. I
unscheduled
got,
appointments.
I have like, so Fridays are kind of like the first half of the day up until now. It's all tax, accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivables, systems. Like it even feels a bit, it's draining. But anyway, so the first half of the day, you already know what's that. And then now I have a couple appointments back to back to back.
Hmm.
I got to get in the gym. I have not been doing that for a while. And I can feel it. I can feel the difference. I've let too many days go by. So I'm about to get in the gym and get it in. Um, got to follow a couple of our new partners. Make sure they're
Okay.
having a good experience. Got to make sure they get some belief checks in their accounts and make sure that they get it right. They know what the assignment is.
Okay.
Can't ever assume that just 'cause you say something once, someone gets it. You gotta be redundant. So I gotta drive it. Like this is what we do. This is the modus operandus. These are the expectations. This is the standard for our org. Yeah. So